Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on the time you're watching this one. Today I'm coming back with my story. Uh, I was giving my story the other time and I was saying how I started my work, my first job with just a salary of 2,000 Kenya shillings. And then I worked for this 2,000 salary for 2 weeks. God became so gracious to me that after 2 weeks, when I did not have rent, and I went to one of my church members, uh, Mrs. Okwengu really helped me a lot, and she held my hand. She was having a place, a cafeteria in Desa University. So early 2007, that's when I joined her at the executive cafe. And then I was earning a good amount because I was able to get like was it 7,500 per month? Because every week I was getting quite a good amount of money. So at the end of it all, I was going home with 7,500 at the end of the week. I mean, at the end of the month. So this was a very good deal for me. From 2,000 a month to 7,000 a month, that was a great change. And so I went on and I worked with Mrs. Okwengu, who was a very, very, very helpful person. She held my hand, she counseled me, she taught me on how to use my money, spend my money wisely. And one thing she told me I will never forget, alikuwa ananiambia, Uncle Chad, please make sure before you use your money, tithe. Tithe your money. If you want your money to be safe, tithe your money. And Mrs. Okwengu, tulikuwa tunakuita maadhe, bado wewe ni maadhe. I respect you and those words are still very fresh in my mind. I am grateful. God bless you, Mama Mrs. Okwengu. And through you, God, opened my doors in hotel industry. And from the experiences that I've had for the rest of my life since those years, 2007, when I started working with you, it has been a great experience because my experience is basically hotel industry now. I've never gone anywhere else. So my second job was with Mrs. Okwengu, and I worked for executive cafeteria in Desa University, and that's where God started moving me from one level to the other. And the experiences I got from the places I've worked, especially Daystar University, shaped me, molded me, and sharpened me to become a better server, a better person in all restaurant service. So basically, we could be behind washing the utensils. We could be there helping the chef to cut. Mr. Mwangi ndiye alikuwa chef yetu. Mwas, barikiwa sana, and my colleagues who were working together, and we could help him cut things. Kwa hivyo unaona venye chef anafanya, so you can do some little cooking. When you see, you learn the experience, you can do better than somebody who has gone through the theory. So we were learning the experience, and cashier was there. We do the cashier. Sometimes cashier is not around, you tell, hold on for the cashier. And so I found myself, I'm good at service, I'm good at the cashier point, and I'm good at barista, because we're also making coffee, making the cappuccino, lattes, and americanos, espresso, ristretto, macchiato, the milkshakes. So God continue opening doors. God continue opening doors, and I think my second job was a blessing, a great blessing for me, because you could not, if you are me, you're coming from 2,000 Kenya shillings per month to 7,000. That is three times, almost four times of what you are earning. That was a great, great change. And As I look down the line right now, I see nothing else but God. You know, sometimes you can look back and say, maybe in what I have done, maybe it's my determination or what. But when I look back, I only see God. And so my second job really opened the door for me in hotel industry. Basically, now for the last more than 15 years, 16 years, I have been purely in hotel industry. I've worked with hotels, you know. When I left Mrs. Okwengu, I went to work with Savannah, the coffee lounge. You know, the famous, that was the time when Savannah, the coffee lounge, was the coffee lounge. When executives, members of parliament, ministers were coming there. And you know, that was also a good transition because when I left Mrs. Okwengu, I went also for a better salary and God opened a greater door and the tips were there. And it was, things kept on rolling. Because I got a very good experience in Desert University, where I worked as a waiter, I worked as a cashier, I worked as a back in the, you know, washing the utensils. And so I was all rounded. And so I got experience. In fact, before I went to Savannah, the coffee lunch, God opened a door for me to work in the airport, where I work with a very uh, respectable mother who held my hand. And she told me, Nam, as I can see you, I want you to become the supervisor in this place because the work you are doing is even more than what the manager is doing. So I want you to supervise these people. I went as a waiter, but I was promoted as a supervisor. And so when I went to the airport, I worked at the airport. It was called Ruama Catering Center, Sojin. Kwa wale wenye wamekuja Sojin, wale wako airport, mnajua service ile tuliwapatia ya kipekee. And so Sojin nimefanya kama food and beverage supervisor, and I was able to transition to know leadership qualities, to know what to do, when to do, and how to do it, to make the duty rosters, to do, you know, all those, making sure that everybody is happy and everybody is enjoying at place of work, and you know how to deal with people, different temperaments. You know, people are different, and especially when you're working with ladies, there are days they will like you, there are days they will not like you, but you know you have to know how to deal with them. And so from there, I learned how to deal with people, different people. Some of them were older than me, some of them were younger than me, but I was the supervisor. And my manager also, Mr. Kabugi, helped me a lot. He told me, Nam, I've worked with so many supervisors, but you are different. Uh, in fact, Mr. Kabugi was praying that if he was to leave, he could have recommended me as a manager. Thank God, his blessings never left me. His blessing went with me because the next places I went, like when I joined Savannah as well, I went as a waiter because now the salary was a little higher, the tips were very good compared to the Roma Catering Center. But Roma Catering Center gave me a base. Remember, I'm telling you about my experiences, the life I've had. So I'm coming from the 2,000 Kenya shillings a month to 7,000 Kenya shillings a month. And now I'm coming as a supervisor. The salary has gone a little higher, almost 10,000, and the life is good. I see there's a great change that is happening in my life. And so I find myself able to do so many things. So when I left Roma Catering Center in the airport, place called Sojin, then right now I think the place was demolished and they they built some, you know, parking lot for the airport. But back then, I think I really learned a lot. I really learned a lot. Yeah, so left Sojin with my 10,000. I went to Savannah, and Savannah was good. The tips were good. I think the bad day I could go with maybe 300 Kenya shillings for tips, and my salary was intact. So sometimes I even could not touch my salary, which is a plus, you know. God was opening doors for me. Yeah, so I went on to different places and I spoke to so many people and I met, the different great people, members of parliament. Mr. Kabog was coming to Savannah, by the way, those days. And those were the people we were serving, the likes like Mr. Motudo, wale wanajua Motudo, Motudo knows, Motudo mwenyewe alikuwa anakuja huko, the Honorable Prime Minister. Then, I served him in Savannah Coffee Lounge. So many people, I cannot mention them all. Yeah? Raila nimemserve mimi. Yeah? Nikiwa Savannah. And so this one gave me experience and exposed me to different levels, to be able to serve high class people. And so God was opening doors for me. I didn't know what was ahead of me. In fact, I've never imagined that I was going to be a supervisor one day. I've never imagined that I was going to work within Nairobi city center before. But you see, when God decides to bless you, the blessings of God maketh rich and adds no sorrow. When he decides to bless you, he will bless you, and people will look at you and wonder. They will ask, what has happened with this guy? We know him. We know him. Yeah? We know where he came from. We know how he was raised up. We know the things he was going through. But there's a drastic change that has happened with him that we are unable to tell, you know. And so with that, I went to Savannah and I worked there for a number of years, I think like 3 years. And then I went to Roma Catering Center, which also God gave me an opportunity to work with Muslims because mostly the owner was a Muslim and they were a great friend. Pale I must give salute to Mohammed. Moha ni best yangu poa sana. He's one person who was there and he held my hand. He held my hand. I was working as a supervisory level waiter, but in a supervisory level that I was the one assigned. If new people come, I'm the one training them on how to do service, on how to use the micros and all that. And Mohammed in Roma, I mean, not in Noma Cafe, Mohammed in Noma Cafe really helped me a lot, and he held my hand. He helped me to grow to the next level. And so this is where I came first to interact with Muslims because these are the people I was serving. The warriors, the Somalis, and all the Muslims. Little did I know that God was preparing me to go and work abroad. And so this is when I had friends of mine wanted to go and work in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. And people are mentioning these good names, and I'm wondering, what are these people talking about? Kuna wakati mtu anaongea unashindwa huyu anasema nini? But when they are talking, I'm also getting interest. And so they said, kuna mwenye anaitwa Lydia na Ngong Road na anapeleka watu Dubai, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, hata US ukitaka kwenda watakupeleka. And so I got interest. So I went there and I was screened na nikaambiwa, we'll call you for an interview when I've seen you are good, your experiences, uko na experience ya Savannah, the coffee lounge, which is a great place. Everybody knows about it. And so they said, Madam Lilian akaniambia, wewe siku yenye utataka kutravel, siku yenye tutakuita ukuje interview, chapa interview yako yote, ongea Kiingereza yako yote, pata kazi, enda ujijenge. And so I was called for another Snapchat. And then something happened that I did not have passport. So the offer left me. That was the year 2008. So offer iliniwacha hivi because sikuwa na passport. That's why I encourage everybody. Passport is your right. A child who is 1 year old, 1 day old, is entitled to a passport. So do as much as possible to give your children their right. Unajua passport si kama ID. Kipande ni lazima ufike 18 years. You must reach 18 years to get an ID, Kenyan ID. But for a passport, you only need to be alive to get your passport because it's a traveling document. So I really recommend anybody The things, if you want to go and work and if you want to sharpen your tools in your career, two major things you need in life. I mean, in your within your fingertips, your passport. You need to have a passport, valid passport. You need to have a CV. Yeah, CV is not for the learned. CV is for the living. Make a CV, put your CV, anything you are doing. Kama unauza makaa, you are selling charcoals, you are selling clothes, you are doing your own business, you have your own restaurant, unauza mandazi, unauza chapati, unauza njugu. Make a CV and don't say unaenda kwa interview unaulizwa wewe ulikuwa unafanya kazi gani between this time to this time, unasema sikuwa na kazi. Hiyo unakaa, you are lazy. Yeah? Don't show people you are lazy. You are not lazy. You are a hard-working person. You are doing your own business. You are paying rent by selling charcoal. You are paying rent by selling your groundnuts. Yeah, so in your CV saying between this time and this time, I was working in my own restaurant. I was working as a hawker. I was working because you are not, there's nobody who can tell me that for 2 years you did not have a job, so you are doing nothing. If you're doing nothing, then you're very lazy. There's no single employer that will tell you for free. There's no single employer or single interviewer that will see a gap of 2 years, 3 years, or even 1 year and ask you, what were you doing? Then you say, I did not have a job. There's nothing like you do not have a job. When you do not have a job, you are doing something. And if you are not doing something, you are not worth being recommended for any post in a company. Yeah, because there's no HR who want to employ somebody who's lazy when they don't have a job. They are sitting in the house. Kama ulikuwa unachunga ng'ombe, sema during this time to this time I was taking care of my father's cattle, my father's goats. I was digging, I was busy in the gardens making sukuma wikis, growing sukuma wikis and growing it. You need to have a story that is able to change people's ideas about you. You might not have the experience, but the things you know, the things you have done, make them and give them the courage, to say this is the person we need. Because he was not employed, but he was doing ABCD. He was managing himself. You are a good manager. Give them the courage to hire you. Yeah, so I missed my opportunity because I did not have a passport. And a passport, you should have it. You are right, you should have it when you're 1 year old. It's not an ID that you need to reach 18 years to be able to get it. And so I'm encouraging parents, I'm encouraging, everybody, get your passport. Get a passport. Passport is your right. A child born is supposed to have, the birth certificate and a passport. You don't know what God holds in store for him. Yeah? Your child can be so much talented that when they start school as early as 3 years, 4 years, they have people who are coming to see them and they see this boy, this girl is very talented. I want to take them abroad and give them full scholarship from nursery school to university to all those, And so I'm encouraging all parents. I have a son. And my son, when he was before even 1 year old, I took for him a passport. And my child has traveled, has come to Dubai. He has been with us in Dubai, and he will also come where I am right now. Yeah, because he has what is important. And so your children may miss opportunities. Like I missed my opportunity, my first opportunity to go to Dubai. I missed my first opportunity to go to Dubai because I did not have a passport, which everybody should have. But because there's nobody who has taught us, there's nobody who has given us the way, there's nobody who has told us that you are supposed to do A, B, C, D. This is a must. There's nobody who told me. Me, I'm telling you right now that a passport is your right, and your child has a right for a passport even when they are only 1 year old. Because you don't know what they will become tomorrow. You don't know the experiences they have. You don't know the talents. Everybody's born with the talent. The Bible says God is able to make, your talents is able to make open doors for you and sit you with kings. What talents, giftings are able to make open doors for you and sit you with kings. So you have just given birth on for a baby, or you have had a baby boy or a baby girl. Make a passport for them, because God, the word of God has said, the talents of one open doors for him and sit him with kings. You don't know the talent they have, so you just prepare the way. It is not very expensive to get a passport. That is only 4,000, 5,000. It might look much, but if you have it ready, when hao wazungu wanakuja wanasema huyu mtoto is very talented, unataka kumpeleka aende kufunzwa United, Manchester United, aende Manchester United Academy, because they've seen the child is very talented in football. The child can really do good football, you know. I'm just amazed, but I'm talking about my passport. So I think we'll continue with this one. We'll continue with this one. Yes, so we come back. So I missed my first opportunity because I did not have a passport. Then later, when I went, I was called again. I had my face had got all pimples all over. And so I could not travel again because of the pimples and everything. But now my breakthrough came in the year 2012 when I went to Lillian. Lillian called me and she told me there's an opportunity for people to go to Qatar and it's only for 1 month. And so if you want, you can go and this is the amount they're going to pay you for that 1 month. And if you are lucky, they can take you, you can remain there and work there. If you're not lucky, come back home. You have experience, you have nothing to lose. You have a win-win case. And the company we are going to work for was a five-star hotel. I mean, was it 5 or 7 star? It's a big establishment in Qatar, QNCC, Qatar Convention Center. So the year 2012, we were the ones who went to serve the dignitaries in QNCC, COP 18, the year 2012. And so God opened a door for me for 1 month. And when I went there, we went there on Wednesday. Then we were told Thursday and Friday we were given an off to rest so that on Saturday we start work. It will be busy, busy, busy. And so when we were given off the following day, I walked out of my room and I crossed the road. When I crossed the road, I saw a restaurant. Then I went in. I saw a hotel. Then I went in. It was called Ascot Doha. When I went inside, I found these people. There was this guy who was called Edwin. Alikuwa security. Edu, nakuheshimu sana. So Edu, I asked Edu, bana, mimi nimekuja hapa hivi, we've come for the COP 18 meetings and we're only here for 1 month, but they've given us permission to look for jobs. And so I've come to look for a job. And then he told me, yeah, there's a restaurant here and they are looking for waiters. Then I said, I can do a waiter, I can do barista, I can do everything. I can do a cashier. Then they took my CV. They took my CV and then I told them, okay, when they call me, I'll come. So when I went, I'm crossing the road and I want to go to the next level. I have my CV, so I'm going to cross the road and go to the next place to drop my CVs. Then I had a phone call. Then I had this guy say, hello, and am I talking to Amsterdam? I said, yes, my name is Mr. Michael Hamade, and I'm calling you for interview. Just drop your CV here. So I went to Qatar on Wednesday. On Thursday, I had an interview. And let me tell you, I will not give you the details of the interview. The interview was very good. Mr. Michael Hamade asked me, do you want to start now or tomorrow? My God. So I told Mr. Michael Hamade, thank you very much for the offer. I really want this job. And if it was within my powers, I could have started it now. But I told him, we are here for the COP 18 meetings, and we were just staying at the governor residence. So governor residence was across Ascot Doha. So we went to, he knew the people who have come for the meeting, COP 18 meeting, and they were Kenyans, and so he knew we were there. So I told him, I've not even started the job that we were called for, but trust you me that when we finish like this, I will come and start working. But unfortunately, I must go home because we are on a tourist visa that we must go back home and come back. Then he told me they can write for you an NOC so that you don't go back home. And Mr. Michael Amade kept on calling me. Can you? Are you coming? Can I speak to your HR? And 1 month went quick. 1 month ilipita. Nikaenda nyumbani nikaambia Mr. Michael Amade. I went home on Wednesday and I left Mr. Michael Amade with my documents. On Thursday, when I reached Kenya, I had my visa and my air ticket ready to travel. And so I think it was the traveling date was like Friday or Saturday. So I went home, dropped. The following day, there's a visa and air ticket that was already in my email, and I'm traveling on Saturday, and that's how I started working outside. So I worked in Qatar for the year 2012, 2013, up to something like April or May. Then, that's when I changed and I decided I want to go to Dubai because I had purpose to go to Dubai for a long time. At least now this had given me the exposure to be able to, I was able to do international service, international traveling, so it was easy for me to travel. When you have the entry and exit in your passport, it's very easy for you to go the next level. And so I left Qatar the year 2013 and came to Dubai. So in Dubai, I've also worked a number of years. Uh, See you in the next episode. I'll give you my story, my journey in Dubai, the UAE. Thank you. God bless you.